Hello guys, and back again to another episode of the Talos Principal Editor. It's been a while since I did the last video. That was because I was on vacation 1 week and I finally made the Windows 10 upgrade, even though it's just 6 days out or something. But just to reveal, Talos Principal Editor and all the other things work fine on Windows 10, so yeah. Finally Windows 10 is available, and but that's not part of this tutorial. So what I'll show you in this tutorial series is about custom terminal text. So we're gonna integrate an own terminal file. So like we can put in text file, for example, in a terminal, put it in a world and write our own files, maybe for an own campaign or something. It's really useful. And we're gonna go over the episode params, and they are useful for defining what the episode is, and finally let them play inside the Talos principle. This is not possible right now. So the first thing we can do first is press N to get this big entity list, and then we're gonna select the world info to have the properties of the world info selected. And then you see over here world params. If we expand them, we see episode params, and they are none. They are set to none. If you browse, you basically see we've got a whole I don't know where they're stored actually. Okay, they should be stored on the database. Somewhere over here, yep, here, Talos episode params. And if you load them into here, it takes a while because it needs to pass through the terminal file, and then we finally have no reaction from the window, and there we are. And if we now go into the game, you see that we have at the top left the sigils and the display on which sigils we actually have, and which we need for which level. So this is actually, I think, the first level with this door symbol and those 3 sigils which we get into the first level. So actually you have this, and sure, you can create your own things over there to have your own levels needing own sigils. That's totally possible, but that's covered in another tutorial. And you see, basically we have this display. Yeah, my English. So that's not all this thing brings back. You see, if I put this to none, you see this display is away, and you see we have one sigil. You saw this in the last tutorials as well. We have one sigil, but that's pink and has a 1 on it. And no, the 1 is correct, but it's pink, and that's because it does not have allocated the colors for the tetraminus. Tetramino, Tetris, stones, sigil stones. I use tetraminus because it's the technical description of that, but sigils is also okay. So so yeah, that was another bug. I don't know. Recording stopped. So basically, those episode params are necessary for every level. Sorry, to define what is this. So I made for you an file which you can easily use. I'll show you this, which contains the default stuff, but not the customizable stuff. So it's this episode params.rc, and I put this as a download in the description. So if you load this in, you basically see this one has some settings loaded, but not all. So you see what's not there is Talos messages, journal terminal dialog, and tetramino instances, and the episode ID, and this is why he cries over here. So this is just a file which is not a final file. It's just a file for you as a template to insert your own files later. So first we fix this red message here. It says episode ID, episode info path must be set for the Talos episode. So for that we open up the Explorer and go into the folder of the Talos principle, and what you see over there is every level needs an NFO file, an info file, to work. So you see let's go ahead in the basic ones. So we open up one of those grow files. I don't know. The levels should be located in here. You see we've got a Taylor's principle.nfo, and this one basically describes the, how should I say, the campaign. Yep, this one describes the campaign, and every level inside the Taylor's principle uses this. So that's defined to, okay, that's a campaign and not a default level or something. So we need an own one. To do this, we can just take one out of the grow. So I should not close 7-zip. We can just take one out of the grow. So just get this. We go into the levels, and you need to drag this into the levels folder, and not into the folder where your level is. So in here. So it needs to be here. So we just drag this Taylor's principle.nfo over here, and then we can edit it. So we say edit with Notepad++, then simply open up an instance here because I have my cheat sheet on the other side of the monitor. And this is basically the NFO file, and it's not containing much. It first has Taylor's episode. This defines we're talking about a Taylor's principle episode info and not about any other thing. And then under name, you see we have here TTRS, I explain in a minute what this is, double point episode dot name dot Taylor's principle equals Taylor's principle, and the first level is the first level of the campaign. So I think it's clear what name and first level do. And under name you see this TTRS, and this will now go to us later, because TTRS, I don't know where this stands for. Maybe Talos translated, I don't know, but this is for the translation, so this is a localization tag. Everything you have beyond the TTRS double point is basically just a key. So this is called episode.name.Taylor's principle equals Taylor's principle, and if you would now put this away, for example, and just have that over there, then it will look up on a localization text file if there is any episode.name.Taylor's principle, and if you have English selected in the game, it will look into the English localization file. If you have German, like me, it will look into the German localization file. This is for localization. Because we are actually using no translation and it's currently not needed, but I think we need it here anyway, so we can just episode.name. And then we write tutorial level equals, and then we write simple tutorial level. And this is actually the title it will show inside the Taylor's principle in the final game. And then the first level and or only level in this case is content Taylor's levels and not Cloud 101, but we are in the folder tutorial level, and over there I think we call this tutorial level.wld, and then we set the NFO file. Beautiful, we can close this, and now we just need to rename this to tutorial level.nfo, and there's our NFO file for our level. Easy, or? Now we just need to feed him this, so we just say over here content Taylor's levels tutorial level.nfo, and once you set this, he will not cry anymore at you. Okay. So after you did some changes, I'm not gonna save this into my default template one. We can name this tutorial episode params. And if you make a big campaign or something, it's always good to name this like the campaign. So if your campaign is named, I don't know, my campaign, then you probably need this my campaign episode params, and you use this file over and over for every level you have. Okay, let's go on. Tetraminor instances is, if you now go into the game, you see we have nothing above there. No files and no tetraminors showed, and that's good. So If you want to have some determiners for your own level, so like placing sigils at the end of our level, that's covered in another tutorial I will show you. So even if you now go into the level and press tab, you will see in the console, journal terminal isn't set up in world params, cannot show journal terminal missing. So that's the next thing we're gonna do, defining a terminal file. And for defining a terminal file, we basically need one. So that's what we're gonna create now. We're gonna go into our tutorial level folder, and I already created in dialogs.dlg here, just deleted, my fault. You just create a new text document and name this whatever you want. So like dialogs or something, I name this my dialogs, and change the ending from txt to dlg, and then hit yes, and we're inside. So what I want to show you is this Steam guide. It's actually terminal dialogues from Grey Heron, and this is a really great guide which shows you how the terminal programming language, because it's actually just a little own programming language, how this will work. So what you see here, you see every definition and what it does with a little description, and it's really cool and really useful, and I will not show all what this covers, but if you want, for example, to see how do I make a little quiz program or something, I did this for a friend. So basically a quiz where you have a question and then 4 answers available, and it's not like a text file like these unlocking floor programs. So you can actually write real terminal programs with that, and it's just awesome. So yeah, I'm gonna put the link of this into the description as well. So inside our dialog file, which we newly created, you're gonna open this up, and I need to put this as a separate instance from Notepad++ as well. Now I need to look. This it is, right? And now I'm going to show you how we actually work with this scripting language. So if you take a look at the files from Crow Team, where they programmed the terminals in the campaign, you actually see they split it up in different files, and every level has its own file. And this is actually not bad if you are doing multiple levels, but I do one level, one file, so I just keep this all at one file, but sure, you can split this up as you want. So the first thing we need to do is to define the header, and we can just copy and paste this. So I will put this as well in the description below, just for you to have this as a reference to copy paste it. And you basically see this is my Notepad++ has a style bug or something. That's right. And this is basically the header, and I will show you what this does. So if you're familiar to programming, you basically know what we're doing here, but if not, let me explain to you. So terminal when means if the terminal runs something. Terminal means the terminal tries to show a file or boots or something, and not the player. And if the terminal when and then the state what is, so if what is defined in these brackets. If we are booting, this is the state where basically the terminal is booting, and we are not Milton allowed, so this means this Milton library assistant shows up, and not Milton not allowed. So even the Milton is not allowed, but it's not allowed. So basically not set if it's wanted or not. And sorry, we are not, and we are in the gates, or in the ending crypt, in the ending tower, or floor 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this is basically just for those terminals at the end. So basically you could delete this. Then the what is if. So oh man, what happens if this expression is correct? Then this is run in the curly brackets. No text defines the terminal has nothing to output. And basically every terminal step needs even a text or a no text. So if you define a text, then you are able to print something at the screen. And if you define no text, it does not print anything, but you need either text or no text. Then it sets the local variable Milton not allowed. It sets booted before, so set and set local are therefore variable settings. Take a look at here, it's all described in here. And then it goes to the step booting. So go to is just maybe if I now have a terminal when and then for example like now here test1, and then having some print definitions or something over here, and we want to go to this part of the script, we can just write go to test1, and this will automatically run this one then. The goto. It's similar like batch programming, or if you know what that means, it's pretty simple. Okay, so this is the header for our client to have being booted. Now we need to just include the basic client global file to have the variables and all the things set up so the terminal works. So for that we're gonna write include. Include basically just includes another file in your file. So as I said, if you're familiar with programming, there's no problem for you. The path we want to include is content, Talos, databases, computer terminal dialogues, and client global.dlg. This is the file which actually defines all the states of the client and how the client works. So basically that's all what you need, but now we're gonna start by adding an own text file to a terminal. So to do this, we're gonna simply go over here, and we start by adding the file into the client. To do this, we start with player when. So this is in player condition. When the player enters a terminal, in this case, the terminal does something, sure, but the terminal does something and not the player. So the player needs to enter this. The difference between player and terminal is a bit overrated, but take a look at this awesome Steam guide, you will basically get to know. So we're gonna write player when, and then we're gonna write two brackets. First we need to run client enabled, so is the client enabled, and texts available. So I need to take a look that I'm not making a typo mistake. And texts available, and we are in the terminal. So in terminal means are we in the terminal, and then the name of the terminal. So this is basically routed to the entity name of an entity in the Talos principle. So we're gonna say how do we name our terminal? We name this foo terminal, and or, so we're gonna go over here and write or we are in the journal, because we want this file to show in the journal too. We're gonna write in here in terminal journal, and so first journal, the journal which you open with tab, is just in terminal 2, which is just has no model and it's an overlay. And foo terminal scene texts. So this defines so let me explain you. First, if the client is enabled and texts are available, so there are any texts we can look at. So if there are no texts, if you go to the terminal, it will indirectly close again. And we are in the terminal foo terminal, then we would basically show a file or something. Or we are in the journal and we have already seen the texts in foo terminal. If there's a text file in our foo terminal, but we just did not open it, then we cannot open this in the journal. So this is the thing with journals and so on. We basically can now write what then should happen. So this is now the programming language, and over here we're gonna write options, double point, and another square brackets. no, it's brackets, curly brackets. And then over here um, we can basically define what now should happen. These are the options, and options are always buttons which you can press at the ground. So we're gonna write over here now the first, which is header. So let me take a look at my cheat sheet. Yep, that's right. We write header, and this is basically the name which shows in the journal. So you can put anything over there. So we write TTRS double point. And if you write anything which is not localized over here, you basically need to write ttrs.notrans, which means no translation. If you just write a string over here, it will puke an error at you. So just take ttrs.notrans. Or if you want localization, then you probably use ttrs double point and then your localization key. ttrs.notrans equals, and then the name of this yeah, I'll say chapter in the campaign. They basically use the level names there, so I just use here, for example, let's take foo bar terminal texts. So that's probably not that, and that's probably the header for the terminal, for the journal. And then we're gonna write the file, and the file we have is file double point and then ttrs.notrans again, and here you define the file name. So the file name is, how do we call this file? We call this foo.txt. And then we write user double point, and this is also not localized strings, so ttrs.notrans, and this basically defines the user which is shown in the terminal. So we can put anything at here. I will just put Chuck N for Chuck Norris, and then the date. Date is basically just around the yeah, decorative stuff in the Talos principle for files having date and user and what they do there. So for the date we can just do random or something. I don't know, put something in there. And then we defined a file. Cool? I think. So we defined a file right now, and this is all for defining a file. Now, if you want to put another file inside, I'll show you this. And now, if you want the terminal to show any text, because now we just added the text file, but we did not edit text content. So this is again a terminal when. Terminal when, and this is really simple, terminal when foo.txt. So every time you have a button on the screen and press it, it will release the condition which is called like the button you pressed it. So if there's a button called hello, then you could basically write terminal when hello, and this will be fired if the hello button is pressed. So there's a foo.txt button because we have added the file over here. So terminal when foo.txt, which means we are about to open this up. We're gonna write over here show text. So show text double point, and then what this does, it basically just opens up this window which shows you the contents of a file. So we're gonna basically start with two of those rectangular shaped rectangular shaped things. I forgot the word. Brackets, right. And then you write ttrs.notrans because we don't want a translation. And then we can write the text file content over here. So we can just make up some space and type in, let's write something like tutorial text file foo bar, and I hope you subscribe and like my videos. So this is basically the content of the text file. And then make sure it closes with two brackets and one curly bracket. You see in Notepad++ the highlighting. And then we basically done. This is for defining the text file. This is for defining that the text file is there. This is for basic boot up stuff. And now we're done. We can save this file, and we basically coded our first but real dialog. So once you have this file over here, we need to put this inside Taylor's principal. So we go over here and under Journal Terminal dialog, we select our My Dialogs and click Open. It will pass. And if you see no errors down here, this means you actually did it right. We go into the level, and you see we can open with tab a journal, which means no error. You see, no errors over here, and it says journal empty, no text found. So actually now we just need a terminal to read our file, didn't we? So let's start by putting a terminal in. Oh, and don't forget to save your episode params. We go to the entity list and drag out a computer terminal over here. When you drag this in, I realized that it probably takes some time. So you see the cursor is now, now it has no reaction, but it takes so much, and then you have a box. And if you go to entity, we have computer terminal params, and they work like entity params. And you just navigate to content, Talos databases, and computerterminal.rsc. And this basically loads in our terminal. We can now rotate this with tab. And this basically makes up a real terminal. It's probably a bit loud, and if we use it, you see, he types in list and we have no files in here. But the terminal works. So we have no files in here. The problem is why we don't have any files? Because this terminal is named computer terminal 001. In our file, we defined that we actually need this terminal to be named foo terminal, so the file is there. So it needs to be named foo terminal. So we name this foo terminal, and now you see the terminal is beeping again because it has something for us which we actually did not read. So let me first put the sound a bit more down because it's really loud. So the terminal is beating. I'll show you what this means in a minute. The terminal is beeping because it has something for us. So if you go there, and this is because we said we don't want Milton over there. So it says unrecognized error detected, and we can't use Milton. So no run MLA. If we press now list, yeah. Actually, this should not happen. Okay. I'm a bit fucked right now. So, what you see is, this is basically what it does when you're using the terminal for the first time. And, yeah. Probably this shouldn't be the case. So, let's take a look on what this does. And, if you encounter some errors like this, basically those errors shouldn't happen, but they did. You can always take a look at the original files at databases, computer terminal dialogs, and there you have many, and we take a look at cloud terminals. And this is a big file. It's over here. Well, that wasn't supposed to happen. So cloud terminals, you see this over here, and this is basically for Rome, and this defines every file for every level. So yeah, here's my cheat sheet, and if we go to, let me think, all dialogues, yep, we've got the headers over here, and basically I think we need to include some other things as well. So I think we just need this second part over here too. I'm really sorry for that because I have not planned that this will happen, but it did happen. So we're gonna try if this fixes our problem. So we go back into our world info. Every time you change something, you need to reload the dialogues file. You first hit none and then load it again. So let's test if the issue is fixed right now. But I think not. Yep. Yeah. So, let me make a quick pause and I will go right back if I found the error. Okay, man. Okay guys, I'm back in business. I found the issue, and the issue was kind of gay. The thing was, in this MLA comportal.dlg file, it defines when we are in the intro, so we never played Talos Principle before, then it will return. And because we basically in the editor have never played Talos Principle, or it is, I don't know if it's at you or not, but if it is, you see it checks for the variable comportal certification completed. And the bullshit I pasted in here you can actually remove again if you did. I will put a full copy of my dialog file in the description as well. But as you see, I added a line over here, which is after the booted before, set comportal cert completed, which means these communication portal stuff which shows at the start is now completed, and it will directly lead us to what we have. So let me first clear my my Taylor's principle score, because I already tested it out and now it won't say that there are any new files. So clear Taylor's progress, go into the level. Okay, basically it won't. Okay, so as you see here, if I open the journal, it says foobar terminal text, because I basically accessed the terminal, but I didn't read the file. And you see chuck n random foo, and we can't take a look at it because I not opened the file. If you now open the terminal, you see no gay stuff over here and no Milton, because I don't want it Milton. And if we say list right now, it says searching for locally cached resources, and we have our file over here. If I open this up, you see tutorial text file foobar. I hope you subscribe and like my videos, which is what I supposed, which was it's supposed to show this. So this is my own text file. I can close it, I can exit the terminal, see new text added. If I press tab, you see I can read the text file from terminal. And that's basically all. Sorry for my little bug over here. Okay, it was not a bug, it was just random stuff. So always set the variable comportal cert completed, and you just need the first one. If you want Milton allowed, you can basically set local Milton allowed. Then Milton will be there, but I hate Milton, so I don't want them. Yeah, I think this is all. We added our own text file too, and if you want to add more text files, it's even it's even easy. You can just write over here file ttrs.notrans and name this file bar.txt. User is Chuck Norris as well, and the date is some random date as well. Then you edit another file. And basically, to act it out like what the text, you just do then, you just do then bar.txt, and if this one is opened, we're gonna basically run show text with, I can't write today, with two of those ones, and then no trans equals, and then bar. And then don't forget to reload. I encountered a little bug that you basically need to click unshare on the terminal on the dialog file, then you go into the episode params and select the none, and then open it up again. That he basically passes it again, because sometimes he doesn't. Playing again, you see the file bar we didn't read. We go to it, list. We open up the bar.txt, and there's our bar file. We can exit, and it's added to our journal as well. And that's probably all. Now I show you what this does. If you make an own episode param, you see, basically you must unlock this before you can use this. Maybe you had this issue before. I'm really sorry, I forgot about that. Basically this is because you actually did not play the game with this episode params, so you are able to use them, and you, as you know, you need to unlock them in the Nexus. So you can basically use them, and for that, Solace has put on his profile on this general ask about the editor question this script here. We can just copy paste this, and I'll show you how to implement it in the game. So you basically go to your entity list and drag a script entity out. So a script is over here. Drag this somewhere here, and you see this is a script. And we will use scripts in the future. If I show you some of the basic Lua programming we can use in here to make cool things. So if you have selected the script, you can press E, and you get the script window inside the left, and you can write script in here. And if we just paste what Solace posted over here into here, we can just have the script. And then we go to the entity again, and we can save it, but we do not have to. So we can just go into the tutorial level and save this as unlock all. If you want, you do not have to. And then if you start playing, you see at the bottom left, which is cut off at my video, you see we have all mechanics unlocked, and you see we can use them as well to complete the level. Beautiful. And our terminal is working. So that's how you can make own text files. I really hoped you enjoy this, and sorry about the little bug I had, or not bug, my thumbness was that. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe we can do some cool stuff with this terminal later on. In the next episode I show you how to integrate own sigils into the game. Till then, bye.